In the last episode, I told you why I did what I did, but let's now get into how I did what I did. So here's how I lost 35 pounds without actually hating my life. Let's talk girly pop. I think the most important things to note starting out are that I didn't do anything extreme, in my opinion. There was no extremes. There was no black or white thinking. There was no, my entire life is going to change tomorrow, which I know for some people that might work. I myself have tried it that way a bunch of times, but it never seems to stick. So I've been successful. I'm about 5 months into my weight loss journey. I've lost 35 pounds overall. And I want to tell you the specifics about what I did and like literally all the ins and the outs. So let's get to it. So the first thing I did was I worked on food because I am a firm believer, and it is the truth, that unfortunately, maybe contrary to popular belief or what people might like to hear, abs are made in the kitchen. Your weight is made in the kitchen. Yes, you can work out and you can work food off, but you can eat 400 or 500 calories in the blink of an eye. You will have to work out for hours to burn that off. So like you can do it that way, but why would you if you don't have to, right? It is so much easier to actually go through working on the food side of things. So I actually started with food in my process too. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Chloe Taylor. I am on a weight loss journey to lose 97 pounds, 35 of those pounds I have lost already. So I have about, what is that? Like 62 more to go. Is that right? Somebody do the math for me. I started at 237.4 and I am down to 202.4. Somebody do the math. Okay. It's also, I've been fluctuating a little bit between 33 to 35 pounds, which is very normal for me throughout this process. My weight has fluctuated a lot over the last 5 months, but never more than like within a few pound range. And every week over week, I have still lost weight, even if it has just been a lot or a little bit. But in any case, also, if you're new here, check out the previous episode I did if you want to know more. You can still watch this one without watching that. That is more of like an overall. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty and the specifics of things. So food, I want to talk about food and how I got into that. So I went strictly on a low carb. I went strict low carb literally overnight. I hesitate to say the word diet because I know that many of us, myself included, have a connotation with the word diet that is like, oh, I'm doing this like overall thing that I'm going to do for a time period and then I'm going to stop. I would like to flip that mindset for some of y'all and say like, think of the word diet as just a way of eating. Like you right now, no matter how you are eating, it is technically a diet. It's not diet in a restrictive way possibly, or in a, you might not be on a regimented thing. You might be eating whatever you want, whenever you want. And that is still a diet. Do you get what I'm saying? Like a diet as a way of eating. So technically, yes, I am on a low carb diet, but it is a way of eating. I don't anticipate I will ever stop eating this way. And I talked about it more in the first episode as to why. So if you want to know the why, the ins and the outs, like that, like there's a whole episode I dedicated to talking about that and what I actually think of diets like that and how I don't think it is for everyone. I think it's specific for me, for what my dietary needs are. It actually makes a lot of sense. But how did I settle on this? So many of y'all actually asked about my macros, and I would like to say outright, is it that you want to know how I calculated my macros for my body, or is it because you want a comparison? Because what I don't want people to do from the work that I'm creating here is look at my body as the prime example and say, okay, I have to do it exactly like her. I would rather teach you how to figure out your own macros and figure it out for your body, which there is a way of doing this. So the number one thing I did with food, and I'm kind of going to go over this a little bit with you. So get out your notebook. Okay. And also if you're not going to take notes watching this and like do something for yourself, I want you right now, I will give you a moment, put your headphones on, take me with you on your phone and go for a walk. Go for your hot girl walk. Maybe bring a little drinky with you. Go for a hot girl walk. Use this episode as ammunition to get yourself moving. Because after I finish this, that's exactly what I'm going to do, is go for a walk. So use this as your girly pop walk time. Okay. I want to be that person for you. I want to inspire you to go out and do that and get your body moving. No matter where you are on that spectrum right now, I want you to use this as fuel for that. So get up, get moving. Don't care if it's around your office building, outside, on a treadmill, doesn't matter. In your house, walk circles around the coffee table. I don't care. Just do a little hot girl walk. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just do it. And follow your plan and not your mood. Okay. So first and foremost, I ultimately knew I wanted to prioritize protein because I knew just from working with myself, I am a certified holistic nutritionist. So I actually have the knowledge and education to help myself with these things. Also with an emphasis on autoimmune diseases, which PCOS is an autoimmune disease. So I already have the knowledge, tools, skills to help myself. And I knew that. So first and foremost, I am prioritizing protein no matter what. And I shoot for roughly 140 grams a day. The reason I chose that number is because that is my ideal goal weight. My ideal goal weight is 140 pounds. It's generally considered like a healthy marker for you to choose that as a number. Now, obviously, if your goal is to be something that is completely unreachable in protein, like you don't need to be eating 300 grams of protein a day if your goal is to be 300 pounds. Like ideally, your goal weight would be in a healthy BMI range for you. So that is how I ultimately chose that number. And there are many other ways to calculate that out, but I just went with what was easiest. I didn't want to overthink it. And I tried it. Here's the thing. I tried it for a long time before I ever went low carb. I was doing high protein and trying to hit that marker. And what I found was that it was difficult to eat other foods because I didn't have enough room for them in my diet. Like I wouldn't hit my protein marker if I was eating other foods. Like, granted, I did not eat solely protein, but when I was eating these high protein foods, it just like, I was so satiated all the time that I couldn't eat a bunch of junk if I wanted to. Does that make sense? Like I didn't have room for it. Like I would just be like, oh, I'm actually so satiated. I don't feel like my body can have more. And mind you, I started therapy 3 months before getting into this journey. That was a massive help to me. I recommend it to anybody that struggles, especially with the binge eating cycle, because that's going to like, if you already struggle mentally with food, you need to work on that first before you could actually start implementing any kind of plan. But anyways, I digress. I started with 140 grams of protein. If I go over that every day, I don't mind. Like that's fine. I can do 150, 160 grams, no problem. And some of y'all have been asking, like, how do you get your protein in? This is going to hurt your feelings. This is going to hurt your feelings because when I was somebody that ate a lot of crap in my diet, like a lot of it, I'm not saying like you can't eat the foods that you love. You definitely can in moderation. But when I was just eating and it was like a free for all, I was not paying attention. It is actually not hard to get the protein that you need in your diet with the macro that you have set for yourself if you eat protein sources. If you just eat the chicken, the fish, the steak, whatever it is that you're, the tofu, even tofu is a great option. I was vegan for like 6 years at one time in my life, and I know how to make some bomb ass tofu. Like tofu is a great option. And don't even come at me like, with your tofu tastes like crap, you frankly don't know how to cook it if you are making it taste like crap. Tofu literally takes on the flavor of whatever you season it with, so you need to learn how to season. Don't be seasoning your food with the conception or the concept of seasoning, okay? Put some seasoning on that shit. You can make tofu really, really, really good. It just has to be made correctly. I will always argue for vegan food because, like I said, I did it for 6 years and I don't feel like I was not eating good at that time. But you have to be eating whole food sources of protein. That is what is going to give it to you. If you're relying solely on protein shakes, protein bars, all of the protein bullshit foods that are on the market right now, I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I don't even really like protein bars. I think they are a joke. They are a gimmick. There are very few protein bars on the market that actually have good macros. Now, obviously there's nuance to what I'm saying, because if you're someone that like, that really is going to help you and keep you from eating an entire cake, you should probably have the protein bar. Please, for the love of God, have some nuance with the things that I am saying. What I don't want to hear is a bunch of like whataboutism. That shit drives me crazy, because just getting like an hour of what I'm talking about with this stuff, I can only tell you what works specifically for me. You need to make it fit for yourself if it's something that you are wanting for you. It's not going to be exactly how I did it for you. I can help you. I can give you tips. I can give you the tricks, but it's going to work for you the way that it works for you. Like, you know, everybody's body is different, so we should expect that everybody's plan is going to look slightly different. Anyways, that said, I shot for 140 grams, sometimes 150 grams of protein a day. I was mainly getting that from whole, and still am, whole food sources. So this doesn't mean I am eating like 5 pounds of chicken a day. Like, I will mix this up. A typical day for me, I'm going to outline it for you right here, right now. Okay. This is what I eat typically on a day-to-day. For breakfast, I am going to have 2 eggs, a 1/4 cup of egg whites. I'm going to have a small pile of microgreens that I literally just pull out the package and eat it, for fiber reasons. And like, who doesn't want the micronutrients, you know? I will have with that some kind of breakfast meat. So that's turkey bacon, chicken sausage, sometimes regular bacon, sometimes regular sausage, sometimes smoked salmon, sometimes it's steak, right? Whatever I am feeling or whatever my budget allows for at the time, because some of these items are cheaper than others. Whatever my budget allows for at the time is what I'm working with. So eggs, egg whites, some kind of breakfast meat, usually a protein shake. And not all protein shakes are created equal. You want one that is, I would say, at least 25 grams. At least. I try to find one that's like 30. You want the percentage of protein. When you look at how much protein on the back in the label, you want the percentage to be double. So if it's 20 grams of protein, you want the percentage of protein to say 40% minimum. That means that that protein source is a bioavailable protein source, going to keep you satiated and actually go through your digestive tract and like give you something to work with. And you also like, don't be buying protein shakes that are like, oh, 20 grams of protein, but it's 400 calories. No, I actually really have been into, and I can't believe it because I didn't like them the first time I tried them, but I've come back around. I'm really into the Nuri protein shake right now. It's the cheapest option. And the ingredients are solid. There's no seed oils, which like, wow, what a concept. I feel like so many of these protein shakes do seed oils, which if you're not somebody that struggles with inflammation, seed oils are probably fine for you. It's the people that have high inflammation, like myself, that we have to be a little bit more picky about that diet. So no seed oils. It's sweetened with stevia, 30 grams of protein, 150 calories, and it's bioavailable. So anyways, I'm having that. If I don't have that, I'll have a 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. If I don't have that, I will have a 1/2 cup of yogurt with some berries, because berries are also low in carb. I will eat all of the fruits. I am not a fruit hater, even the fruits that are higher in carb, because at least fruit, when you're eating whole fruit, not like juice, you're getting a fiber benefit from it. So I'm never going to be the person that demonizes fruit to you. I don't care if it's high in carbs, eat the fucking fruit. That is just my policy. Like, nature made that and I'm going to eat it. But that's what I mean. So I am always getting somewhere. Like today, let's see, I've had breakfast today and I can tell you exactly, and I track this in an app. Currently I'm using Chronometer because it's free, but I have had 56 grams of protein today. So like, I haven't had lunch or dinner yet. I am already over a third of my goal there, just with that one meal. And usually I eat the food and then I take the protein shake with me and I'll drink that throughout my morning while I'm getting ready. So right there, 56 grams, boom, done, finish. Always starting my day with a high protein meal. I am focused. I don't crash because I'm not having a bunch of sugar or carbs, which for me, when I have a bunch of carbs, especially with no protein source, I am asking for a sugar crash. I am asking for 2 hours into my day, I am hitting a wall. I don't hit a wall. I have a lot more energy. I like the way I feel. So that's breakfast. Lunch, this is the meal I think a lot of people, myself included, stumble over, because if I don't have leftovers portioned out for myself, I fucking hate lunch. Okay, I am a bona fide lunch hater. I hate lunch. It breaks up my day. I have ADHD. When I'm on a good hyper focus, I don't want to stop what I'm doing. I hate lunch. I hate it. But I have to eat it because if I don't eat it and I hyper focus, I'm starving. Okay, I get to like a starving state 5-6 hours after breakfast. And I'm like, why am I so anxious? And it's because I am starving. So I make myself stop and eat lunch every single day. And if I don't have leftovers, which right now I haven't been in a very like prep leftovers mood. Sometimes I do that and I thank myself for that, but right now I'm not in it. I will usually one of like 3 meals on rotation. Okay. And they're easy. They take 10 minutes. And I'm using like, what do they call that? It's like semi-processed food, which I think semi-processed food is okay. Even processed food, if you're having some, is okay. Semi-processed food is going to be like cheese, milk, canned fish, canned chicken, canned foods in general. I eat canned food for lunch almost every single day. So I either do chicken salad, which I will just do canned chicken. I get most of my canned goods from Costco because they have all the good stuff, but you can get it wherever. I'll do canned chicken, some light mayonnaise, maybe a little bit of ranch seasoning, mix that up, maybe green onions if I'm feeling fancy, put that between 2 slices of keto bread. I just made lunch and it's high protein because the chicken's high protein, the bread is high protein. And for lunch, I'm getting more than 30 grams again. If I don't have that, I will do the same thing, but with tuna. Same like ingredients. I might do like sriracha instead of the ranch packet. Or I also like doing a can of tuna, a little bit of mayo, a little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of sriracha. And then I will do that in little seaweed pieces. Like you can buy like little seaweed packets. I'll just eat that. It's like little tuna sushi bites. I will do that. Oh my God, tuna is elite. If you like canned fish, tuna is elite. One of those cans is something obscene. Like I want to say it's like 42 grams of protein or something. One can of tuna. So I will do that a lot just with the seaweed, or I'll put it again. I use the keto bread, not because it's necessarily low carb, which like that's a great benefit, but it's high in fiber. So it's helping my fiber intake for the day. But also it is so low in calorie. I feel like I can eat so much of it and I actually like it. I will be the first person to tell you, I'm not a bread person. Like even when I was younger and I was eating all the carbs, like I have never been that person. When bread would come to the table at Olive Garden, I might have a single piece, maybe. Like I learned really early on in my life that I like other carbs more. And I do not prioritize bread. I will get a sandwich and I will get that shit lettuce wrapped and I like it that way. I will go out for a hamburger and I will get it lettuce wrapped. And I have been doing that since way before I was ever low carb because I am not a bread person. Like bread just doesn't hit for me. If I'm going to eat carbs, I want pasta every time. So that is not a difficult thing for me. I like the bread, the keto bread, because it's like 30 calories a slice, high in protein, high in fiber. And it's really just a vessel to hold the other food. So I'll have either tuna sandwich, chicken sandwich, or I also really like doing a piece of keto bread, a quarter of an avocado or like 50 grams. I'll weigh it out. 50 grams of mashed avocado, a can of sardines in olive oil, which you could do like in water, but I actually like the ones in olive oil. And then I'll put a teaspoon, and I will measure it, of chili crisp on top. Oh my God, I ate that for breakfast today, actually. Sometimes when I don't want to make the full breakfast plate, I will have lunch for breakfast and then breakfast for lunch too. That was phenomenal. I've been eating that a lot right now, just like sardine toast. I like sardines. I have loved them since I was a kid. My dad used to feed them to me as like a food in the summer when we would go on trips to the river. So like that's not... I know some people get really skeeved out by sardines. Could not be me. I love a sardine. Give it to me. Mars and Mercury are in Aries right now, and I'm an Aries Mercury, and I feel like I am talking so fast. Anyways, I also love a smoked oyster. I'm a big fan of that. So all of that stuff, those are things I really, really like. That is like perfect lunch for me. Perfect lunch for me. If I really want to add extra fiber, I will have like lettuce in those sandwiches, or sometimes I'll do like a bag of frozen broccoli that you just steam in the microwave really quick. Like things like that to add to the side to kind of bulk the meal up and give me the extra fiber. But 12 out of 10, I like that because lunch comes together in literally less than 10 minutes. I don't have to think about it. And it's like I am full now until I have dinner. So then for dinner is the one meal that kind of rotates a lot. Like I change my dinner options out most of the time, but I will say I'm not opposed to eating the same dinner. I don't know, let's say like 2-3 days in a row. I will cook it fresh every night, but it will be the same meal. Like recently, I bought a big salmon fillet from Costco, and my husband and I just had broccoli and salmon for dinner with a bunch of butter and like garlic and lemon. We ate that literally for 3 nights in a row, and we were so happy to eat it every night because it's delicious. We'll also do like salad kits sometimes, but you have to be careful with those because sometimes the dressing is very sugar packed, and you're gonna, like, if you are trying to be low carb, you just want to be mindful of that because when things are full of sugar, that is where you're going to get high carbs as well. So I just try to use like way less dressing, or I'll make my own dressing, but just use the rest of the kit. And then we'll just have that with like steak, fish, chicken. I also really love, like, I've been into barbecue sliders lately where I take chicken thighs, put them in the crock pot with some 0-calorie barbecue sauce, which you can get at the grocery store. And then I will do that on low and slow for the day. And then when it's time to eat dinner, I will shred it up with a hand mixer because fuck shredding that by hand. You are way too hot to be doing that. Get yourself a hand mixer. You put it on a keto bun. I just use the sandwich bread, the keto sandwich bread. I'll do a slice of sandwich bread on the bottom, the barbecued chicken. And then I make this slaw where I do coleslaw mix, light mayonnaise, lemon zest, lemon juice, salt, pepper, maybe some garlic powder. Mix that up until it's all coated. And then you put that on top of the barbecue chicken. Then you put your top slice of bread on top. Bomb. That's the full meal. You're getting the protein from the chicken, you're getting fiber from the salad greens, and then you've got all your sauces mixed up in there. That is a complete meal. I'll do that for dinner a lot. I will also do crack chicken. I talk to you guys about crack chicken all the time. Crack chicken is like my lazy girl dinner. I'll do cauliflower rice, which you just put in the microwave. I get it frozen, put it in the microwave. And then in a crock pot all day, I have chicken thighs. I have not been into chicken breasts lately. I have been strictly a chicken thigh girl. I do chicken thighs, cream cheese, like a half block. This is for 2 people for 4 meals. Half block of cream cheese, a ranch seasoning packet, and sometimes I'll do like extra pepper or like season it with a few other things, your call. And then once the chicken is cooked, it takes like maybe 4 hours. I do it from frozen, so it might take like 4 hours. I, again, use a hand mixer, mix up the chicken because I'm not shredding that shit by hand. And then I put frozen broccoli on top, put the lid back on, let that cook for about 20 minutes. And then it's done. Mix the whole thing up. You can add a little water if you feel like the chicken isn't like spreading the cream cheese around enough. I usually do the chicken from frozen, so there's already water in it. And I will put that over cauliflower rice. Sometimes I just eat it with no cauliflower rice and I'll just put a little bit of cheddar cheese on top. That's dinner. I am not missing the rice. I don't need it. I'll eat that a lot. Sometimes I'll just do like steak and eggs for dinner. I like that with like a little bit of A1 because A1 is delicious, but she is full of carbs. Also, I think it's important for me to note that I don't really drink. You can drink. I just like beer is full of carbs, also really inflames my joints. I also find that when I drink, I make poor food choices, and just abstaining works better for me. So I will occasionally have a drink here and there, but I really don't drink alcohol, and I wasn't before I started this. So if you are a drinker, just try to fit it into your macros. Now, that said, I would say that is like an average day of eating for me. This totals like around, I would say I eat between 1,500 to 1,800 calories a day. And it varies. And I don't count, oh, I have to hit this calorie marker every single day. I let myself bounce between, because if I'm hungry, girl, I'm going to eat. Like, I am not about starving myself to be lean. I'm just not going to do that. So, I do think it is important to know when you are on a fat loss journey, sometimes you are going to be a little hungry, and that is normal, but you should not be starving. If I feel like I am so hungry, I can't think about anything else. I love keeping snacks on hand. I like Chomps. Those are my favorite beef stick on the market, are Chomps. I like every flavor. I don't think there's one flavor of those that I dislike. They're all delicious. They just came out with a chicken line as well that I haven't got my hands on, but I will. I also really love a string cheese. I love a hard-boiled egg. These are things that, like, I feel like my snacks, I feel like because I don't eat a lot of sugar, I have to tell y'all, I don't know, and I can't know because I don't have like a doctor inside my body figuring out what it is. But my suspicion is that I don't eat a lot of refined sugar in my diet. And I do, like, we know a lot of these food companies that make a lot of the processed, like, easier packaged foods, I say with air quotes, they literally have food scientists in the lab trying to make these foods as addictive as possible so that we keep eating them. And like, I feel like because I don't eat a lot of that in my diet anymore, I don't feel like I need to eat all the time. Like, I am so satiated by what I eat. I don't feel like, and it did take time. Like the first 3 weeks of eating low carb, I feel like I had like louder food noise, I think is what they call it, where you are thinking about food a lot more. But I do feel like especially with the sugar, I feel like as like sugar kind of got out of the daily habit for me, I feel like it changed something, like mentally and physically, it changed something. And even now, I do still enjoy a little sweet treat. I'm just a lot more careful about it. So like, as I was like, I feel like I'm talking about 8 things at once, but that's kind of what you get here. So for my macros, for those of you that are curious, let me like finish that and then we can talk about little sweet treats. But I would say that I stay between 15 to 1,800 calories a day. I am tracking that. Like, I use Chronometer as the app. I stick to that regimented. And the reason I use that as my marker for caloric intake is you actually need to calculate this for your own body. So what you're going to do is jump on the little internet and you're going to type in TD calculator, TEEDEE. You're going to punch all your information in that it asks for. It's going to tell you how many calories based on your level of activity that you're going to put in there, and your age and your weight and all of that. It's going to tell you how many calories you can consume in a day, basically to maintain, to stay right where you are right now. And in order to lose fat, you need to put yourself on a deficit. So a deficit is just taking some of those calories away. Most people recommend a 500 calorie deficit. That is going to be like sustainable weight loss results. I'm going to be so for real with you. The first 2 to 3 months of my journey, I was doing over 1,000 calorie deficit. I don't necessarily think that that is sustainable. I don't think everybody else should do it. I do feel like I was not being unsafe. Like, I was never eating 1,200 calories. Like, I was always above that because of how much I weighed. I could eat so much more. Somebody that has a lot more to lose, 1,000 calorie deficit might be more achievable because you have more calories to work with. But for myself and where I'm at, I do feel like 1,000 calorie deficit really worked. I was a lot more strict in the first few months, but now I feel like I allot myself like a little more wiggle room. Not a lot. I'm not eating an extra 1,000 calories a day, but I will allow myself to go just for 500 calories under, sometimes 350 under that rate. And I'm still going to lose weight overall. It's just going to be slower. which is fine, right? If I really wanted to lock in, I could do that same deficit again and it would be okay. But ultimately, and I said it in my last episode and I will probably continue to say it, fat loss really is calories in versus calories out. Like there is every diet under the fucking sun, all of them. That is all it is. They might give you different ways of tracking it. There might be different methods of paying attention to it. But at the end of the day, it is calories in versus calories out. It is your energy in versus the energy you are outputting. And once I figured that out, and I could also mentally get past all of the blocks that I had around that, because mentally I had been so royally fucked, okay? No lube, terrible, just royally railed by life and by the diet industry, diet culture, my mom putting me on diets really early in life, her always being on diets around me. Royally railed. That's what we're calling it. We were royally railed, okay? Wild 90s. It was in the wild 90s and the early 2000s. I feel like I was so adverse to counting a calorie because I was like, no, it's restrictive. I can't do that. It's going to like mess with my head. I'm going to get so like crazy about the numbers. And once I kind of worked on that in therapy, worked on a lot of my triggers, which we didn't even work on eating disorder stuff. Okay. I need to make that so clear. My therapist and I just worked on the things that triggered me in general. And then I realized that I didn't need food as a coping mechanism anymore. And that was really what kind of shifted everything. This is why I always say you don't need another diet plan. You need a therapist or a coach. You need somebody in your corner that is going to help you reprogram how you actually think about these things, because that is keeping you stuck. That is going to hold you back, because at the end of the day, it actually is calories in versus calories out. There is no other diet. Like, and these people that just like eat in moderation and do whatever they want, girl, I've been done and dusted. Okay. I have done the intuitive eating. I've done it and I've seen some success, but I always bounced back. I always bounced back into gaining everything back and then some, because for someone like me that has dealt with just so much shit around this in my life, I actually do need a little bit more structure in order to help me accomplish my goals. And maybe other things work for you. I love that for you. It's not for me, bestie. This at this time in my life, until new information enters the arena, which it may at some time, this is what works for me. Anyways, this all said, that's kind of the macro formula I'm on. Is I stick to 140 grams of protein, between 1,500 to 1,800 calories a day. I do not eat back any calories that I burn off. So if I'm walking, some people maybe do, I do not. If I'm walking, I'm not eating my walking calories back. Like, I just, frankly, I think I still have so much weight to lose. Like, and I don't feel like I am hurting myself. I don't feel like I'm starving all the time. I don't think, frankly, I walk enough to facilitate needing to do that. I walk between 30 minutes to an hour a day, and I just haven't noticed that I've missed that. So I do not eat back my exercise calories. I would say for carbs, if I'm really locked in, I'm eating 20 carbs or less a day. If I'm just trying to stick to low carb though, I'm doing around like 50 or less a day. And I'm not like flipping my lid if I ate 56 calorie or 56 carbs. You know, if I went slightly over that number, I'm not like, oh my God, today was a total loss. Slash all the other 3 tires. We popped one. Like, the black and white thinking is really what I think kept me stuck for such a long time. But yeah, so that's like 140 grams of protein, 20 to 50 carbs, 1,500 to 1,800 calories. And I do try to aim for higher fiber things. So choosing higher fiber options in general, but also every time I'm eating a meal, there's usually some kind of green or vegetable accompanying that meal. Whether it's broccoli, lettuce, microgreens, like even my breakfast, I have microgreens with my breakfast. So there is usually always some form of fiber that is helping to keep me regulated. Because if you're just eating cheese and protein, which you can do and you will lose weight, like we need the nutrients from those vegetables, and your body also needs fiber. I've talked about this before, and I will talk about it again, that colorectal cancer is on the rise, especially for younger generations that don't move their body as much and are not prioritizing fiber. We're all just on this protein craze. You need to be accompanying your protein with fiber. Like, do not let your head get spun by what is popular right now. It's like, I'm telling you, because weight loss fads and trends go in cycles, that is going to be the next cycle. You're going to see the protein jump from protein to fiber. But you already know, because I'm telling you right here and right now, that you don't need to be attached to a fad. You know that the wisdom is you need to be eating your protein and your fiber. It's not a fad. This is for life. Protein is the building block of muscle. And it also helps you to stay satiated. It's good for you. And fiber, we need to keep that digestive tract moving. We need the micronutrients from those foods in our body to feel good, to build healthy cells. Like, that's not a trend. That's not a fad. It's eating as a way of life. If I didn't answer anybody's question about that with what I just said, please, I have been snipping every single question that y'all are leaving me in the comments. Mark my words, I have saved every question. I will be answering every single question. When I plan to do a Q&A episode after these first 4 episodes, this is episode 2 of this series. So please keep asking questions. If you're like, but what about this? But what about that? I will get to you. Even if I answered some questions today, I will probably double back on them. Okay. So I also feel like it's really important to note that I really do believe if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay. I know that is such a weird, oversimplification of it, but I really do believe that. When I run out of canned goods and then I run to my kitchen to try to have lunch, I'm pissed. You do have to have some level of a rotating plan. And you can change the plan at any time. I think that's something else that I think is really important to note here, especially if you're somebody with ADHD. I always want to help the neurospicy girlies because I am one and I get it. We don't always like the same thing over and over again. It starts to grind on us. But sometimes the simplification of over and over again while it is working is beneficial. So we have to allow for some flexibility where sometimes we might be all hands on. This is the thing we love. And then suddenly we get the ick from our canned tuna. And what the fuck are we doing about that? Right? I know some of y'all get it. The girlies that get it. So we have to have some structure, but we need to have flexibility within the structure. So what I recommend is that we do have to have a plan. We just have to know that the plan might change if we get some kind of ick. So for me, I would say on a weekly basis, usually every Thursday is like payday for my spouse. And so it just makes sense to do it that day. I do a grocery plan and I check stock of all the foods that I've been eating. I check on where I'm at with that. And I will make a list of the foods that need to be purchased. I will also make a list of I keep a rotating list of dinners that I like, and I will look at what groceries we have to make it again. Do I want it again in rotation? And while I am doing my little doom scroll, because you're all doing it, every single fucking one of us, even though I have so many blockades in front of me and I don't doom scroll nearly as much as I used to, we're still doing it. I save recipes constantly. I have a board in my Instagram that's just low carb recipes that I want to try. I follow a bunch of low carb accounts. Follow people that you want to eat the food that you see. Let this be part of your routine. Use the thing that you know you're already overusing and let it benefit you. So I will save recipes that I want to try. And when I feel like one of my recipes is giving me the ick, I'm like, okay, let's go to the low carb board that I made. What is something in here that I was really excited about that I think I could try? And I will put a new recipe in and then use all the other ones. I don't throw that recipe away. I usually try to catch it before I start to get grossed out by it. And I'll bring it back in my rotation as a fun favorite eventually. And I keep these. So I either make my own recipe cards, which I love to cook. And I don't love to cook as much as I used to. And I do think it's because I hate my kitchen, but that's another story for another time. I don't love to cook as much as I used to, but I do feel like I love to recipe curate. And I love to like host and serve a meal to other people. That makes me really happy and feel like if I had basic universal income with anything extra, I would be creating art and I would be hosting dinner parties. Like that's what I would do with all my free time, because what I love to do is converse over a good meal. But I feel like it's really important that you don't just like make this recipe once, love it, and then let it fall to the abyss. Like you actually do have to put some effort into making yourself a recipe kit. So this is something that I actually want to bring to my Patreon a little bit more. If any of y'all are curious about recipes, please let me know down below, because eventually I'm going to release a like PDF of recipes that y'all can get. But I also thought about releasing just like a few recipe cards to my patrons, but I was like, maybe I need to make a new tier on Patreon that includes the weight loss stuff, because maybe some people don't want that. And like, I'm in a weird place right now where I'm like between niches where I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about health and wellness more. And I've always been a health and wellness focused person, but I also do a lot of spirituality content and I love doing that too. So I don't know. I thought about like making a wellness girly tier and then like including it as like you can have this by itself, or you can have like the overall mega tier that gives you everything. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I want to do it. I haven't fully decided. I just feel like I want to start incorporating, like, I would love to do more like what I eat in a day vlogs, make more recipe cards for y'all, and like actually let you be a part of what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Like, anyways, thank you to my patrons, by the way, for making this podcast possible. But if you're interested in any of that, please let me know and like just tell me in the comments about that. It's really important that I get that feedback, because if I get enough people telling me to do it, I will do something about it. I know I'm going to make a PDF of recipes eventually, no matter what, but I feel like some people might want that stuff early. And like, let me just tell you, just if I could say anything else, and then I'll stop talking about it. I do not half-ass anything in my life. When I am my best self, I am very type A. I will get it done. And like, I have a nice camera. I know how to shoot food photography. I know how to curate recipes. I went to culinary school for a few semesters. I know this stuff. And I know that if I make this, it will be very well done. Like, I will not just be slapping together some AI slop. This will actually be like a full production thing. So like, I don't want to like put my ass in this a little bit if I decide to do it. I want a whole ass it. So if that's something that you actually think you would utilize and want, like, please tell me so I can put my ass behind it. Anyways, I digress. You have to be building some kind of recipe keeper for yourself, because you're not going to get out of cooking if you're trying to lose weight. Frankly, unless you have somebody in your house that loves to cook that you can just give all the recipes to, you're not getting out of it. And also, like, I think there is something to be said. And I know, again, I feel like I'm not afraid to hurt people's feelings with these things, because these are things that I needed to hear. I needed somebody to hurt my feelings in this way. You are not just bad at cooking. Somebody probably didn't teach you. And you are not somebody that just is like, I don't like cooking, I hate cooking, da 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 da. You are repeating that story. And cooking is literally a life skill. Like, the same way that budgeting your money, the same way that like learning how to drive a car, which like, I guess not everybody needs to learn how to drive a car, but like, cooking is a life skill. This is something that I believe everybody should have this skill in some basic capacity. Doesn't mean you have to be top chef. It doesn't mean you have to know how to do a million things, but everybody needs to know how to cook a little bit. I'm not saying you have to love the experience, but it is a basic life skill, and it is actually like it's not cute to complain about hating cooking. It's not cute and like, I'm not trying to say, like, there is nuance around this. I feel like if you have given your whole life to like slaving in a kitchen and no gratitude has been given back to you, like, there are, like, please do not come in here with the no nuance Nellies. But like, yes, there are reasons to hate cooking, but I do feel like this is one of those things that, like, kind of like taxes, kind of like it is a kind of like brushing your teeth, kind of like getting dressed in the morning. Like, cooking is one of those things you are never going to get away from it unless you make a lot of money and can hire a private chef. It is something you are always going to have to do, like the dishes. Like, you are always going to have to do this thing unless you outsource it. So, like, why not try to enjoy the ride a little bit? Why not try to make it a part of your life that, like, how can I try to not hate this thing? How can I try to make this a part of my weekly life so that I'm not miserable? Those are the questions you should be asking yourself instead of just sitting there and being like, oh my God, I hate this so much. I hate this so much. Like, I get it because I fall into those cycles myself. I used to love cooking. I used to adore it. It was one of my favorite pastimes. Doing it for like, I don't even know how many years, it's kind of lost its magic for me. I don't like it as much as I used to. It frustrates me. I told y'all I hate my kitchen, but it is something I'm never going to get away from. The dishes I'm never going to get away from. Cooking I'm never going to get away from, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Like, it is going to be so much easier if you find ways to enjoy this process instead of, I hate this, let me throw in the towel and go order Chick-fil-A. Like, yeah, you can technically lose weight tracking macros with fast food. Like, you can and you will, but you're A, going to spend so much more money. B, you're not going to feel as like, there is a difference, I feel like, between just calorie counting to lose weight and being in like a healthy BMI and actually being healthy. These foods are genetically engineered to make them addictive. They are full of all kinds of crap that is not going to make you feel like your best self. And the second you step back and you feed yourself better home cooked meals, you are going to feel the difference. And it doesn't have to be complicated. I'm speaking right now specifically to people that like, this feels really hard. And I know because I encounter a lot of people that this is their hang up with weight loss, with taking care of their health, is like, oh, I hate cooking. I don't like doing this thing. It is literally a skill for life. You're never going to get away from it until you hire it out. Like, why not find ways to try to enjoy it and let this be an experience that you can get into? Like, I'm just saying. And it doesn't have to be hard. There is a system that will work for you. You can get your partner involved, which I always recommend. My husband and I cook dinner most of the time together. He usually cooks breakfast 9 times out of 10, and lunch we usually do separate because he's not home and I am. So like, we don't usually do that together, but like, I have a partner that's willing to help me with these things, which is great. But even if you don't, like, even if I didn't, I would be meal prepping things out. I would be cooking protein every 3 days and just heating things up as I go. Like, I would find a system that worked for my lifestyle and I would make that the standard. And just know you can try a system, see if it works for you. And then if it doesn't, adjust the system. Do things until you find the thing that works for you. Same with your macros. Same with how you decide to set yourself up. Try things with yourself until you land on the thing that you're like, hey, actually, this is really working for me. My only thing is like, especially with cooking routines and like how you want to do this for yourself, it's really, really important that you try for like, I'm going to say at least a week. Like, try each thing that you're like, this is my plan. This is what I'm going forward with. Try for at least a week at a time before you start adjusting shit. Like, don't be doing stuff for one day and then you're like, fuck this, throw the whole thing out the window. I would actually recommend longer, but I also think sometimes if you're doing it in a way that doesn't benefit you, like, why would you continue to do it for multiple weeks if you absolutely know there's a better system, But like, just know that you're going to have to be like sticking to some kind of grocery ordering, grocery shopping. There is going to have to be some meal planning behind it, but you can generate systems for yourself that make sense. And I also want to say to that, if you think that this is hard, it is also so much harder to get up every day and hate yourself. It is so much harder to get up every single day and not be able to breathe properly, to move properly, to have bodily autonomy. And I know because I've been there. I said it in the first episode. I couldn't walk from my dryer to my bed with an armful of clothes, which is less than 10 feet away, by the way. My apartment is very small. I always say that I live in a shoebox without being completely out of breath. Like, Nothing feels better than waking up and knowing that you have autonomy, no matter how old you are. Like, that is something that will deteriorate over time, and that is going to be harder. You just like these are both hard things. Choose the thing that choose your hard, basically. What do you want to be hard for you? So, if this is the thing that's stopping you, and I've heard it a lot, choose your hard. Choose the thing that is hard. I also think keeping things like snacks that you know really work for you, keeping easy meals, like I talked to you about all the canned meals that I eat all the time. I eat canned chicken, canned sardines, canned tuna. I love those things in meals. I add them into things. Sometimes I have other lunches where I'm cooking, but this gets me fed and helps me hit those macros that I'm trying to hit and allows me flexibility. I think the main takeaway is that you want to be relying on stability and consistency, not your willpower. So this is not a battle of will. This is over time as you design the system for yourself. And if you have questions about this, leave them below. When you design the system for yourself, it eventually will become such an ingrained habit that you will you'll be like, I built a system. It has nothing to do with whether I will or won't do this or the willpower behind it. I built a system and I'm consistent in that. So build the system, basically. I also think it's really important to talk about what did not work. So what did not work for me was doing everything all at once. So yes, I overhauled my diet immediately. That was the first thing I worked on, was how can I change my foods to fit this? I was already eating a high protein breakfast for years before I implemented other meals. So I would say start with a meal, start with breakfast. And once that feels laughably easy, trickle into your next meal and start making those alterations. I was actually at a point where I would say I was eating high protein at breakfast and lunch, and dinner was the hard one for me. But what I did was I looked up recipes for foods that I liked, things that I was already eating. I was like, how can I get this in a way that meets the macros I'm trying to hit? And then I just made those recipes instead. And if I didn't like a recipe, I was just like, oh, I don't ever have to eat that again. Frankly, that was not for me. I don't ever need to eat that again. And if there's a food that I love, that I know I cannot live without, for example, I love a blueberry muffin. I don't think there's ever going to come a time in my life where I just don't have one of those. I let myself have it. Probably about once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, I go out to Whole Foods and I get a blueberry muffin and I make it fit into my macros for that day. Yes, it is a 560 calorie muffin. It takes a third to almost a third of my caloric intake for the day away. And I have to be mindful of that and aware of that and eat around that. But I can still have the thing I like. I just can't have it all the time. You can still eat what you like. You just can't eat it all the time. That's what I tell myself. I can have whatever I want. I just can't have it all right now. I also feel like not falling for high protein gimmick foods, which is a really big problem in today's world right now. It is a huge problem right now because especially in America, I can't speak for other countries because I'm not there looking at their foods. But in America, everybody's on the high protein train. And I'm going to tell you right now, the government does not give a fuck about your health. If I had a microphone to drop, I would have dropped it. The government does not give a fuck about your health. They don't. They do not. I know that we are giving the illusion where they're like, oh yeah, high protein foods. Here's the new food pyramid, blah, 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 blah. If they cared about your health, they would regulate more of this shit. People wouldn't be able to slap high protein on a fucking Reese's cup. No. There is so much gimmicky shit out there right now. You need to know how to read a food label. You need to know this stuff. Like I told you earlier in the episode, for protein, there's a couple of tricks. Number one, when you look at the number of protein, always look across at the percentage. You want the percentage of protein to always be double. And if you're really, really, really knowledgeable in this, you can also look at the food label and see where they're getting their protein. Some people don't know all of this though, and I'm not gonna that's another topic for another day, but look at where the protein source is coming from. Is it coming from meat? Is it coming from whey protein source? Where is it coming from? Pay attention to that. If you look there and there's no percentage, usually that means that the food is actually not a high protein food and it's going to pass straight through you. You also want to pay attention, like with the protein number. Let's say that something is 20 grams of protein, or no, let's say it's 30 grams of protein. The calories are 150. Look at the protein number, add a 0 to it. So 30 would become 300. Compare it to the calories. The calories are 150. The protein is double the calories. This is great. This is a high protein food, especially if the percentage is also double. This gives all the green lights of like, oh, this protein food makes sense. This is actually a high protein food. You look at that Reese's cup that's like, hey, look, our new high protein Reese's. But it says it's 11 grams of protein. The protein is 7%. The calories are 180. You know the protein isn't double in the percentage. You know that 11 grams, if you put a 0 at the end, it becomes 110. You look at the calories, they're 180. That's not a high protein food. The calories outweigh the protein. So like, just, you need to be using your critical thinking brain when you go out and you look at these labels, because there is so much deceptive marketing, especially in the protein industry now. I just want you to not be falling for this shit and wasting your money. Okay. There's also a ton, if you're somebody that wants to go more low carb based, which I know not everybody does, but if you do, there is a lot of food that you wouldn't think would be high carb, but then the second you look at it, it is. Like it on like the dumbest shit too. I'll be looking at a protein bar, flip it over, and it's got like 46 grams of carbs. Girl, that's my whole day in a bar. Like, nah, we are not playing with ourselves like that. So I don't really mess with that. Like sometimes I go by net carbs. So if there's like a bunch of fiber in something, that's obviously going to cancel some of it out. I also don't eat a lot of packaged foods. Like most of my foods is a whole foods source. But I also recognize sometimes it's like nice to have some of that stuff in a pinch to keep, like, the purpose of having a snack is to hold over your satiety. So like, it's not supposed to replace a meal. You're not supposed to be eating 8 snacks and that's your lunch. Like, you're supposed to be having one just so you can, like, in an hour make dinner, or you're not starving and ravenous while you're cooking. That's something I had to learn. Oh my gosh. I know we didn't go back to it, but like talking about little sweet treats, I know I said I still make room for them. Something I also had to break in my brain that I am not falling for, something that didn't work that I had to literally break. I don't know what it is. I feel like the American diet in like the 50s did this, but I can't prove it. I need further research. Maybe somebody knows that could tell us in the comments. But you don't actually need a little sweet treat after dinner. You do not need to eat sugar after dinner, after every dinner. You do not. Like, it's actually insane to eat a full meal, be completely satisfied, and then go, oh, but my little sweet treat, I need to have that cake slice now every night. That's actually insane. I don't know who taught all of us that after dinner, we always need to have a little sweet treat, but actually, no, you don't. You do not. And it's actually better if you don't. Like, I'm not trying to demonize the sweet treat. I still allow them in my own diet. They are just in my diet in moderation. I also notice how I feel when I eat these foods. And when I eat them, I'm always tired. I'm always sluggish. It makes my inflammation in my body worse. And I have to know that before I'm going in to have it, that like, this is going to make me feel some type of way, but like, this is my little sweet treat for the week, and that's okay. I still like the taste of it and I want to enjoy it and enjoy my life, but I'm not going to base my whole life on this sweet treat either. This is why I will always tell you, you don't need a diet plan. You need a therapist. If you're somebody that's like, no, I have to have that sweet treat, my entire life is centered around getting that dopamine from that food, you need a therapist. You need a therapist, you need a therapist, you need a therapist. The last thing that did not work, and why I think it worked this time, is you just need to go slower. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but it really is building one thing at a time. Building out your breakfast, building out your lunch, building out your dinner, and also building out your water intake, building up to your exercise routine. Like, these things do work. You just have to give everything its ample time. Changing your life overnight is a gimmick of the 20-something-year-old girl. Like, and I'm not trying to shit on the 20-somethings. I was one. I was one that was like, yeah, girl boss gatekeep gaslight. I'm going to change my whole life overnight. And then I would do that. And it like mentally hurt me because I wouldn't follow through. And then I would hurt myself in the process by like basically not keeping promises to myself. But the bar was set so high that of course I was never reaching it. And I always felt like a failure. Like, when you set the bar really low, it's very easy to achieve and you're able to like get your brain around it a bunch of times. And it also like, you also get so much good dopamine out of following through with yourself, especially if you're neurospicy. Like, give yourself the opportunity to get the good chemicals. Like, don't be setting the bar super sky high and then being like, oh yeah, I'm going to jump that every day. Girl, no, you are not. Like, no, you are not. Move slower, do things slower. Okay, I feel like, gosh, how long have we been recording? I feel like next time I want to talk to you more about exercise. This was really me talking about like food in a really chatty, casual way and my macros and kind of what I have followed to lose 35 pounds and what I'm continuing to follow. But that's going to be the Yapper Girl Corner. Hey, babe. Hey girl, hey, it's my time. I know, it really is your time. And boy, do I feel like I have so much to say. I was yapping a little bit hard, so we didn't even get to all the points I wanted to get to today, but that is okay. It is your time, my queen. Let us roll into it. All right, I love you, girl. All right, I love you too, girl. Oh my goodness gracious, girly pops. It is time for the Yapper Girl Corner. Hello, honey. I actually have 0 notes for this, so we're just gonna... Actually, I did want to talk about this. Our little friend, this is a Douglas the Cuddle Toy. That's who makes this bunny. I don't know if it comes with a name or anything. I don't think so, but I actually got my friend one of these. She doesn't have the bunny. She has something else, but I sent one to my friend and I saw this one there. It was the last one. And I was like, girl, you know how much I love pink and I love red. And like this, I did not get an Easter basket this year, nor did I really celebrate Easter. So I got myself a little Easter present. I don't know what to name her though. I definitely think that she is a she, which like I definitely have he and they stuffed animals, but I feel like this one is definitely a she. If y'all have any good names for a pink bunny, okay? If y'all aren't watching the video, it's a pink bunny that I bought myself and I don't know what to name her. I feel like I definitely am an adult that needs a cuddly toy to sleep with. I have no shame in that. I definitely collect stuffed animals. But I don't know what to name her. And I feel like she is definitely going to be like I have been on the hunt. Maybe some people think this is weird, but I don't care. I have been on the hunt for the stuffed animal that is the end all be all. Like the one that I take with me on vacation, the one that I sleep with every night, the one that like is truly a comfort toy to me. And I have some good contenders in my collection, but I actually bought like Pumpkin Kitty from Build-A-Bear. Me and my friend got matching ones last fall, and it's just like not soft the way that this one is. So I feel like this one might be it. This might be my like cuddly friend that comes everywhere with me. And like, I feel like the reason I also feel this way is that I have a quote unquote baby blanket, even though I did not get it as a baby. It's this like massive Tinkerbell blanket. And I got it when I was probably like 9 years old. This blanket has been through hell and back with me. Like if my apartment was burning down, this blanket would be coming out of the apartment with me. It went through multiple surgeries with me as a kid. It was with me in some of the most horrendous experiences, but the blanket is huge. Like it fits, I want to say like a double-sized bed. And so I can't take it anywhere with me, but it is my like comfort item. So I was like, I want something that I can actually like, it's small enough to fit in my suitcase, but like is my comfort friend. And I feel like this might be it. It's kind of like weighted too in the butt a little bit. And it's so soft and it's like the perfect amount of cuddle. So yeah, what are we naming her? Would love some ideas. Preferably nothing like no Flopsy, no Cottontail, no Fuzzy, none of like, I either want like a real name or something that like is pink, like Bubblegum or like, you know, like, or we could name her after like a Gossip Girl character or a Vampire Diaries or like, I don't know. I feel like she needs like a cool ass name. So she's with us. I don't know if she'll be in the background forever, but I did bring her with me to the show today because I feel like she just deserved to be here. She's so precious. Let's put her, I'm going to set her back here and y'all think about that. Anyways, this week, my Yapper girls, what we have been up to. If I could be so for real, this week has just kind of been weird. I feel like I've been so demotivated ever since the sun moved into Taurus, which I am a Taurus, so my birthday is coming up. But ever since the sun moved into Taurus, I have just been like, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to, like, I have still been working out, but I'm just like, I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to work. I don't want to, I feel like, but I don't feel like depressed. I know what being depressed feels like, and I don't feel that. I just feel like a big sense of demotivation. And it's weird because I have Taurus in my sixth house of like work and mundane shit. And like, usually this is my season to really get things done. And I just have not been feeling it. So that's kind of been lame, but it's honestly led me to a lot of like hobby things. I'm still working on my cross stitch. I'm still playing Tamagotchi Life, but I actually just watched, and I want to give my thoughts and opinions. I just finished And Just Like That season 3, which is the final season of the Sex and the City series. It's like the extra series that they did after the original series. And I just have to say, I do not understand why people did not like this season. I felt like this season was a masterpiece. I felt like it ended exactly how it should have. I think it was a great send-off for the show. If you haven't watched it, I don't think I'm going to keep this spoiler free, so skip ahead. But like, to me, an absolute Carrie hater. Okay, I hate Carrie in that show. She is the worst character. When somebody tells me they relate to being Carrie, that tells me everything I need to know about you, and like, we are not friends. I cannot stand Carrie. She is definitely a fucking Libra, and me and Libras, I have one Libra best friend. He's fabulous. I have a bitch Libra sister. She's fabulous. It's not that I don't like Libra. I feel like Libra sometimes can have a very mean streak and a very flighty streak, though. And so you kind of have to be mindful of that. But with Libra, I just feel like Carrie is like the shadow. She is like the shadow part of Libra. She is the worst parts of Libra. But I have to tell you, her growth at the end of the show, she literally chooses herself. And she's like, I'm not alone. I'm just my own. Like, I'm not alone. I am just my own. And I was like, bitch, I needed to hear that. I'm not even in my like 60s or however old she's supposed to be. And I feel like I forget that sometimes, that I'm not alone. I am just my own. Like, and like, you see this whole like moment, like the last scene of the show is Carrie going home to an empty house, a big empty house that she has furnished and decorated. She puts on music. She eats a bite of pie out of the center of this pie that she brought home because it's her pie. She could do what she wants with it. And she's just like dancing around her own house by herself. And I'm just like, dude, this was the perfect send off for this fucking show. Like, the entire show has been about Carrie having the worst taste in men, having the worst dating experiences. And to finally have the ending be her choosing herself, I think it was the perfect ending. And I would have been pissed if it had worked out any other way. And I do feel like Miranda's character, I did not like the direction they took her. I felt like they really fucked her character over. I feel like she used to be very strong-willed and opinionated, and like she still is, but she definitely gives like Dusty Boomer in a bad way. And I did not appreciate her character's arc. I did not mind Charlotte's character. I feel like we saw some growth with her, even when it came to I don't know if it was necessarily the right thing, but it felt very real and I appreciated that. She has a non-binary daughter in the show, and like her non-binary daughter actually puts like a female presenting outfit on when she is in a stage production, and Charlotte is like, oh my god, like you can tell she's really enamored with how her daughter looks when she is being, or when they are being, female presenting. And I feel like that's real. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's right to hold on to this idea of who your daughter could have been or who you might have wanted them to be. But I think it's valid to have complicated feelings about that, to show that. And then it also shows a scene where Charlotte doesn't put that on her kid. Like her daughter is like, her daughter is like, hey, where's that picture you took of me from the show? I want to see it. And Charlotte's like, oh, I deleted it. I don't have that anymore. Like it just, she had every opportunity to like mourn and be sad and say shit to her daughter, and she chooses to refrain. And like, I think that's valid. I think, that is the shit that you take to your therapist when you're like, hey, I'm dealing with disappointed feelings of the daughter I wish I had that I didn't receive, but I want to support the daughter I have and I want to learn better. Like, I think that is real, and we need to allow people to be real and expand. And maybe there's something I'm not seeing because these are fictional characters and I'm just here to be entertained. And I also I'm not a mother. I don't have a non-binary child. Like maybe there's something I'm missing here, but I actually felt like it was good. And I appreciated how they showed that. I appreciated that they let that be real. And I hated that Samantha wasn't in the show. That obviously sucked. Seema was not a replacement for Samantha. I didn't even dislike Seema's arc. I felt like it was okay. Like, I felt like her falling in love with another New York like hippie was kind of cute, and it was a cute move for her. And yeah, I don't really understand why people hated that third season so much. I liked it. That was my rant on Sex and the City. And just like that, I liked the final season. I thought it was a great send off for the show, and I would have watched another season. I will also tell you, I am not a film critic. I am not a movie critic. I just like to be entertained. And I felt like this show was entertainment. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it needed to be more or less. And I feel like they made the best with what they had for a final season, and I think it was okay. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. Oh my goddess. When were y'all girly pops gonna tell me that Nordstrom Rack is the tits? I went to Nordstrom Rack for the first time in probably like 2 decades. Easily 20 years. And they have so much good stuff. Like, I feel like, don't get me wrong, thrifting is also wonderful when you're on a budget, but I really wanted some kitten heels for an outfit that I'm planning something for. I wanted some kitten heels because I'm disabled. I can't walk in anything taller than a kitten heel. I really can't. And they had so many options for me. So many like good black closed toe kitten heel options. And they were all like good quality shoes and reasonably priced. Oh my God. They had these Kate Spade ones there that I did not buy, but they were so my style. They were like flats, but they had a heart up at the toe. Oh my God. When were y'all going to tell me that Nordstrom Rack was the vibe? I feel like there were so many cool things there. And I also was able to like get my husband a couple of outfit things that he needed. And like, I had no idea. I hadn't been to the Rack in a long time. So I just didn't know what was good about that, but like, OMG. Oh my gosh. I have one more update on analog shows, and then I think that's going to be it for the Yapper Girl Corner this week. I started watching, because we got the first couple seasons on DVD. My husband bought them because it's like a comfort show to him. We got Scrubs season 1 and season 2, and we started watching the DVDs. This show is like the best. Like, it's just so easy to watch. It's a little funny. It's a little gimmicky for the time that it was made. It's something that I remember watching after school. And it's just like kind of like Desperate Housewives. It's from an era where TV just isn't made like that anymore. And it's like I feel like TV has gotten so much more serious in the modern age. And obviously there are some things that I think don't fly today and they should not fly today. But I feel like most TV that I consume now is so much more serious, where I like miss this like lighthearted, silly comedy that is over a serious topic. Like they're doing like medical field shit. But yeah, it's just been like a really nice new interlude into like just something kind of nice at bedtime. Like my husband and I put the DVD on. I do my cross stitch, he does his crochet, and we just like vibe. And it feels good. Like, I don't know. I think there's also something really sexy about men who do like granny hobbies. I think that's so hot. Like, y'all need to leave me the emoji down below. Leave me like a little grandma emoji or something. Or I think we also might have like a ball of yarn. I'll show you on the screen, but like leave me one of those down below if you stayed until the end of the podcast. And if like, do you think men that have granny hobbies are hot? Because I really do. There is something about it. I don't know if it's like the intricate handwork. Like we all know that when the femmes are looking at your hands, they are looking at those hands because they are thinking something unholy. But I think men with granny hobbies are hot. Like something about like just taking time to slow down and like be invested in this little project that like makes something at the, I don't know, something about it. I think it's very hot. I've always been attracted to men like that though. Like my very first boyfriend was like that too. He also was like into crocheting and knitting and photography. I also halfway dated another guy that was into photography. Like, I don't think photography is a grandma hobby, but I love a man that's into the arts of some kind or like making things, you know, something about it. I don't know. It feels less aggressive. Like, I don't know. Cause I always tell y'all there's one thing I will not tolerate, and that is an angry man. Okay. I was raised by an angry man and I will not tolerate an angry man. Anyways, it's just cute. We're into our little analog hobbies, and then we watch our little DVDs at night, and they're like low stimulation because I feel like shows used to be made without the like hyper need to shift focus constantly because attention spans are this big now. Like shows were just so much more slower paced, and I have been loving collecting shows that move slower and are just like not so, you know. Anyways, that has been the tea lately. That's the vibe. That's the tea. Leave me a little granny emoji down below. Thank you so much, my patrons on Patreon, for following me, for allowing me to do this work. If you would like to get some content from me around the web, check out my Patreon, check out my Instagram, and all my links are down below. Y'all know this. And a few of you did ask what I want for my birthday. I am not expecting anything. I have just received some comments and DMs about it. I did reopen my Amazon wish list. If you want to send me something, you absolutely can. I will open it during a Yapper Girl Corner in the future. I will like save anything that is sent to me, and we will do it as a Yapper Girl Corner segment. So if you want to send something, I would absolutely appreciate it, but zero pressure. Link for that will be down below because some of y'all asked. And I feel like I'm probably forgetting things, but it has been over an hour that I've been sitting here yapping, and I need to go do something else. I need to take a break, but I love y'all so much. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same, and follow your plan and not your mood. If you didn't go for a walk while you listen to this, you better get up and go walk right now, because I'm going to. All right, bye.